Welcome to another episode of ResearchPod.
Today we're looking at a study from a large international research group who organized a competition, testing how well we can map the electrical landscape inside the human body using standard medical imaging.
So this paper is basically asking, if different teams of experts look at the exact same medical data, do they come up with the same map of a person's internal electrical properties?
Exactly. And the core finding is that even when they all start with identical raw information, the maps they produce are surprisingly different from one another.
That seems like a serious problem if a doctor is trying to use those maps for treatment. But first, why does the electrical side of our tissue even matter for an MRI?
Most people think of an MRI as just taking a picture of anatomy, but the signals the machine picks up are also shaped by how easily electricity flows through your cells. That ability to carry an electrical current is determined by things like the salt and water content of your tissue. Scientists call this property conductivity. If we can map it accurately, it can help identify tumors or help plan treatments that use electrical fields, all without ever needing a biopsy.
So conductivity is essentially a fingerprint of how healthy a tissue is. How do we actually see it from outside the body?
The MRI machine sends radio waves into the body. As those waves pass through different tissues, they get slightly delayed, shifted in timing, depending on the electrical environment they move through. By measuring that tiny shift, which researchers call the Transceive phase, we can work backward and calculate the electrical properties of the tissue underneath.
It's a bit like measuring how much a wave slows down as it passes through different materials. The slowdown tells you something about what the material is made of.
That's a useful way to think about it. The catch is that the electrical property isn't measured directly. It has to be calculated from those wave shifts using complex mathematics, and that's exactly where this study comes in. It's called the first MR-EPT Reconstruction Challenge. EPT stands for Electromagnetic Property Tomography, which just means building a map of the body's electrical properties from MRI data. The organizers gave 38 different expert teams the exact same wave shift data collected from a 3D printed brain model and from a real human volunteer, and asked each team to produce their best electrical map.
And I take it they didn't all arrive at the same answer.
Not even close. Despite starting from identical data, the 38 teams produced maps with large discrepancies. Some were sharp and accurate, others were blurry or showed significant errors, particularly at the boundaries where one type of tissue meets another. Those boundary regions are often exactly where you'd most want precision, since that's where tumors or abnormalities tend to appear.
So the bottleneck isn't the MRI machine itself. It's the mathematical method each team uses to interpret the signal. Like having the same photograph but running it through 38 different filters, each one producing a different image.
That's a precise way to put it. Each team uses their own algorithm, their own set of mathematical rules to translate the wave shift data into a conductivity map. And because those algorithms differ, so do the maps. The study suggests that until the field agrees on a standardized approach, this kind of electrical mapping remains difficult to trust in a clinical setting. We have the data, we just don't yet have a single reliable way to read it.
Which means the next step isn't better hardware, it's better agreement on the software side.
Precisely. That's what this challenge was designed to push toward. By showing just how wide the variation is across expert teams, the researchers are making the case that standardization needs to happen before electrical property mapping can move from research labs into hospitals. The data is there. The question is whether the field can converge on a shared method for interpreting it.
Thanks for listening to ResearchPod.